to talk it on this because I need to be out of here by 12 midnight. I gotta be out by 12 midnight. Please come in hitting the like button so we don't have to do a bunch of stalling and we can make it to the very end. Please come in hitting the like button.
Bill Ackman wants me imprisoned, apparently, for suggesting that American sons and daughters should object to being slaughtered for Israel. Why so true? All right, you guys, happy Monday. Just going to pause our Bride of Charlie series just for one day because there's just so much going on right now. Iran is literally on fire. Bill Ackman wants me imprisoned, apparently, for suggesting that American sons and daughters should object to being slaughtered
Chanel.
for Israel. Why so triggered?
Hey, Bryant.
Perhaps because this entire war has been engineered by Israel. Maybe it's that. Donald Trump has very clearly betrayed the American people. You need to accept that. I've had to accept that. He is very clearly not the commander of the armed forces. Bibi Netanyahu is. Miriam Adelson is. And I believe that Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the war in Iran. And it's also my belief that he was intentionally sacrificed by those who practice occult worship. Miriam Adelson is. And I believe that Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the war in Iran. And it's also my...
Wow.
All right, you guys, happy Monday.
Wow.
Just going to pause our Bride of Charlie series just for one day because there's just so much going on right now. Iran is literally on fire. Bill Ackman wants me imprisoned, apparently, for suggesting that American sons and daughters should object to being slaughtered for Israel. Why so triggered? Perhaps because this entire war has been engineered by Israel. Maybe it's that. Donald Trump has very clearly betrayed the American people. You need to accept that. I've had to accept that. He is very clearly not the commander of the armed forces. Bibi Netanyahu is. Miriam Adelson is. And I believe that Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the war in Iran. And it's also my belief that he was intentionally sacrificed by those who practice occult worship. I'm going to explain to you guys what I mean by that. Beyond that, it is completely obvious to anyone that is paying attention that Erica's desire was to become the president one day. So let's talk about all of it. Welcome back to Candace.
Oh, she went to that old one. Oh, she's not doing it. Okay.
Tucker Carlson, he is trending right now. By the way, he's trending always. What he is doing right now is so remarkable and so brave, and he is challenging the conversation, changing our understanding about the way politics works. I mean, he's just been so objectively honest. And, again, brave in what he is doing. But he's trending right now for a rather obscure reason. It was actually a simple tweet that has a lot of his routine haters melting down. This is the tweet. I'll show you that. He wrote, "Pray that the spell breaks and the world is saved." That's all he wrote.
Wow.
Of course, we should pray. But what is triggering them about that? I think I know. I think it's the term, a spell. Yeah, a spell. Because a spell implies some sort of witchcraft or voodoo. Magic is at work. And the timing of this tweet really is something because I have had it on my heart and on my mind all weekend to find the right words to convey to my audience that what is going on in this world is literally and exactly that. People that practice occult magic are in this moment pushing for World War III. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to process because we grow up and we learn that there are in effect really three major monotheistic religions in the West. So the idea that actually there are people that are in charge of Western governments that are in essence really pagan and could be making literal blood sacrifices to various demons, that kind of evades us, evades our understanding of the world because we look at Hollywood, we look at culture. Hollywood in particular has been ever intentional in assisting sort of the implausibility of such a narrative, right? Movies, books that are published, if they delve into the topic of witchcraft,
wait until tomorrow. It'll probably be more out tomorrow.
Really for the category of fantasy, right? It's fantasy if they're discussing it, or it's being mocked. Hocus pocus. Harry Potter, really. What sort of crazy person would believe that ancient pagan practices are still happening in the real world? Okay, maybe in some remote third world village in Africa, but in the developed Western world, at the tippity top of government, you would be mad to even
Government.
suggest it. Even when it's actually in our faces. Take, for example, this recent Paris
Me
fashion
either,
show collection
Chanel.
from a brand known
Maxwell's.
as Materier Fecal. Just so you know,
Hey, Big
that
Al.
translates to fecal matter. Wow, must have really been an inspired show. Fecal
Oh,
matter.
wow.
Wow, no, so in your face, but don't you take it the next step further and think that, you know, these people could be into some dark stuff. That would make you, again, a crazy person. What about the much celebrated visual artist to the stars, the Serbian one? She's also an artist to the politicians. She does spirit cooking, literally. That was what was in those emails. Marina Abramovic. She puts on performances in front of the most powerful people in the world. Performances like in 1974 when she sought to, quote, re-evoke the energy of extreme bodily pain using a large petroleum-drenched pentagram, which the artist lit on fire at the start of the performance. Standing outside of the pentagram, Abramovic cut her nails, her toenails, and her hair. When she finished with each, she threw the clippings into the flames, creating a burst of light each time, burning the pentagram, representing a physical and mental purification. Oh, that's just art, guys. That's just art. Don't you think a step further? No, come on, that's just art. And on the matter of science, even when it's in our faces, like when the world's leading nuclear physicists are caught, cloaked before a statue of Shiva, stabbing a woman in an occult ceremony for CERN, well, you guys, that's just science. That right there that you are looking at on your screens
they was having a sacrifice.
was science, the best science, the best that science has to offer, the most ingenious people. And indeed, I would agree that it's modern science. In fact, the entire thrust of what was deemed the scientific revolution, a move away from the natural order of things and towards empiricism, rationality, that began because of a long organized Freemasonic effort to remove humanity from our innate spiritual understanding, okay? They wanted you to know that you can now ignore your God-given instincts. You can set aside your subconscious. That subconscious that comes online and lets you know that something is not right. Yeah, you can just set that aside and trust the experts instead. In fact, the experts constantly reinforce to us that our subconscious is wrong, or it's just weird. And in some cases, it's immoral, it's devilish even. You want to go see your grandmother while she's dying in the middle of COVID? What are you, Satan? You're being guided by Satan. If you don't listen to Dr. Fauci, that's who you're being guided by. Because there's no greater source of authority in their world than the government, which they control. That's the idea. And I promise you on everything, like on everything, that when Savannah, my manager, came down the stairs and delivered the news that Charlie had been shot, I went into my husband's office and I cried and I immediately said to him, he was betrayed. Charlie was betrayed. And my husband said back to me, you don't know that. We don't know anything yet. And I said, I know. Now, empirically, that argument fails. I get it. But no one can explain why or how I had the sense of dread in the very week leading up to Charlie's assassination. No one can offer why I knew that there was danger coming specifically to a school, and why I felt that it was related to bees, why the feeling was so overwhelming that I hired extra security and took my podcast off air and pulled my children out of school. I had never experienced a dread like that in my life, ever. No one also can explain or even offer an explanation.
I hate this delay. Oh my God.
As to how exactly it is that Charlie knew he was going to die young, and that his death would specifically be related to Turning Point USA. He said he knew from the moment he signed on the dotted line, obviously right. And the moment that Charlie was shot, I knew what happened to him was not random, okay? He was betrayed. Charlie Kirk was the first that when Savannah, my manager, came down the stairs and delivered the news that Charlie had been shot, I went into my
I
husband's
don't know why
office and I
it's
cried
off.
and I immediately said to
I'm
him,
washing clothes,
he was
kitchen.
betrayed. Charlie was betrayed.
Okay.
And my husband said back to me, you don't know that. We don't know anything yet. And I said, I know. Now, empirically, that argument fails. I get it. But no one can explain why or how I had the sense of dread in the very week leading up to Charlie's assassination. No one can offer why I knew that there was danger coming specifically to a school and why I felt that it was related to bees, why the feeling was so overwhelming that I hired extra security and took my podcast off air and pulled my children out of school. I had never experienced a dread like that in my life, ever. No one also can explain or even offer an explanation as to how exactly it is that Charlie knew he was going to die young and that his death would specifically be related to Turning Point USA. He said he knew from the moment he signed on the dotted line that he was going to die young. What exactly is the expert explanation for that deep internal knowing that he had that has now been proven correct? I'll tell you, there isn't one. There isn't one. What Charlie sensed was obviously right. And the moment that Charlie was shot, I knew what happened to him was not random, okay? He was betrayed. Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the war in Iran. I'm certain of that. And it's deeper than that. I am now of the opinion that he was likely sacrificed. And I want to tell you why I got there. You guys know, if you're a part of my book club, I've been doing a lot of research into Freemasonry. About a month ago, while we took a break to prepare for our Bride of Charlie series, someone sent me this. I'm showing you, this is what they sent me in the mail. Something that is known as a Freemason Bible. Now, I knew that these existed because of my studying Sigmund Freud and looking into the fact that he had inherited one from his father. The backstory of this one in particular came with a handwritten letter, is that a 33rd degree Freemason out in Oklahoma died, and all of his belongings were left in a home that was eventually auctioned off. And the person who had this in his possession, his relative was the person who acquired the home. And they went in and they burned everything in it effectively, thinking that it was obviously just carrying bad spirits. But he, for some reason, had the sense that he should keep this one item. For no particular reason, he kept it in the back of his truck for over a decade. And when he saw me covering the history of Freemasonry and what they believe, trying to discern what it is that they believe, he felt that this was the reason that he had kept it all those years. So he just sent it to me to provide me further insight into what they believe and what they practice at the top of Freemasonry. This is not your granddad's Freemason lodge, okay? My dad was in a lodge, it was just a company. No, this is not that. That is not what 33rd degree Freemasonry is. So I flipped through this immediately after we did douse it in holy water. I flipped through it. And within the very first pages, there was a pentagram with various illustrations inside of it, notes around it. I'm going to show you that now. We just took a picture for it for you to see it. There at the bottom, and in case you can't see what is pointing to the middle, it says place of sacrifice or worship. Okay? Place of sacrifice or worship in the middle there. So I want you to note that in this Freemason Bible, it illustrates that a sacrifice must be made in the center of a pentagon. That's a pentagon. 5 sides. Like a house. And I thought, how
One of
curious
those was on the
that Charlie
Epstein
was
Island.
indeed seated in the center of a pentagon when he was killed.
If you hate tomatoes, kale, or literally anything else, Hungry
Y'all
is for
please
you.
hit the
Meal kit
like
services are
button.
supposed to be convenient, yet there's nothing more inconvenient.
Please, I don't want to have to keep stopping.
Let me demonstrate that for you. You can see that right there.
Oh, okay.
Again, it was my independent study into Sigmund Freud that led me to learning about B'nai B'rith, the Jewish Freemason group, whom I believe have been running our country since at least the Civil War. I've done my best to consume and learn about what it is that they believe, what they practice. This is occult mysticism, okay? The satanic panic that happened was real. Children are being harmed. They have been harmed in occult ceremonies for a very long time. This is an ancient practice. And this is not to be confused with Judaism in any way. In fact, they rely on you confusing it.
Yep.
In no shape or form does this have anything
Thing
to do with any of the monotheistic religions. Okay? Judaism is merely a mask that these pagan occultists wear, just like Christianity is one of the masks that they wear. The Star of David, as they term it, is in fact an occult symbol meant to represent King Solomon's ring. There is no way that you can avoid this. There's no way that they can try to rewrite history. It is quite literally known as the Seal of Solomon. I'm going to show you this. This is on Wikipedia. This is that accessible. We can read parts of this together. It reads, "It is often depicted in the shape of either a hexagram or a pentagram. In mystic Jewish lore, the ring is variously described as having been given to Solomon, having given Solomon, the power to command the supernatural. Due to the proverbial wisdom of Solomon, it came to be seen as an amulet or a talisman or a symbol or character in medieval magic and Renaissance magic, occultism, alchemy." Ladies and gentlemen, this is literal witchcraft.
And then it doesn't work.
We cannot beat these people, and we cannot win if we refuse to even recognize what it is that we are up against.
Absolutely.
We have to recognize what it is and who it is that we are up against. And again, it has nothing to do with Christianity.
Nothing.
It's got nothing to do with
Woo!
Judaism.
Come on with it, Candace.
That is why,
Ain't this what I've been
as
preaching
further
for months,
stipulated
y'all?
on this Wikipedia page, the Seal of Solomon was once featured on the flag of Nigeria and the flag of Morocco. Those are not known to be Jewish countries. Freemasons worship Solomon as the master architect. They believe that he gave them the keys to build and therefore control societies. This is how you build a matrix, in effect, right? That is the reason why Aleister Crowley, who was a master occultist, created an entire religion around this, put together a series of books, a series of pentacles that are meant to summon various spirits. I want you to hear me when I say that. They are intentionally summoning demons. First book he wrote was called The Book of Evil Spirits. Wow, look at that Star of David all over it.
Wow.
What do you mean this is not associated with Judaism? It's associated with Baal worship. I cannot stress this enough. That is what the matrix, in effect, right? That is the reason why Aleister Crowley, who was a master occultist, created an entire religion around this, put together a series of books, a series of pentacles that are meant to summon various spirits. I want you to hear me when I say that. They are intentionally summoning demons. First book he wrote was called The Book of Evil Spirits. Wow, look at that Star of David all over it. What do you mean this is not associated with Judaism? It's associated with Baal worship. I cannot stress this enough. That is what those in power practice. It is what they believe. It is ancient, it is occult, and it is magic. I believe that the manner of Charlie's death was also intended to cast a spell. That's the only thing I kept asking the question, why did they broadcast this? Making us watch Charlie die was diabolical. And although this priest that I'm about to show you is discussing Satanism more broadly, he's not saying this, to be clear, in the context of Charlie Kirk. I want you to take a listen to what he says. This is Father Ripperger. He is going to describe the nature of this sort of constant symbolism that's being used, this obsession with them almost having to reveal to us what they're doing, like wanting to get close to revealing to us what they're doing, and then gaslighting us. Take a listen.
Actually, the technical term that we tend to use for that is called the revealing of the method. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I have.
Basically, it basically means that it can be connected to a curse. They could curse this so that it has a more, so that its distribution becomes more extensive and more people watch the thing. But a lot of times what that is that the thing about Satanists, and also even though it's occult and the fact that it's hidden, there's a side to diabolic psychology that even when they remain hidden, they still want to show themselves in some way. They're still going to reveal themselves in something. They can't help it. And it's the same thing you see. It's the same thing you see with Satanists. It's the same thing you see with Freemasons when they're involved in certain things. It's the same stuff you see across the board in these particular groups. And so they just tend to reveal stuff. But their hope is to, even in the revealing, that you don't know. There's a sadistic delight they get out of basically putting it to you without you even knowing it.
You need tons of experience to go
wow.
viral, right?
You don't even
Want to go
know.
viral like your favorite
You don't even
creator?
know.
I found a trick
What
to
happened
go
to Charlie?
Yes,
He didn't
that
know.
is accurate. It is diabolical, and they are clearly sadistic in what they are doing. And of course, there is an element of it they enjoy to gaslight you right after they do these sorts of things. That piece, by the way, about the symbolism, sort of overt and in your face, is also made clear in the very early pages of this quote-unquote Freemason Bible. That symbolism is actually crucial. In fact, it's a science to them. You're not imagining things. Right here at the top, it states this. Again, from this quote-unquote Freemason Bible. It reads, "It has been correctly stated that symbolism constitutes the very essence of Freemasonry. Freemasonry is essentially the science of symbolism." Further down, it offers us a section entitled "The Science of Symbolism Explained." It reads, "A symbol or an emblem is an occult representation of something unknown or concealed by a sign or a thing that is known. So something you recognize kind of carrying deeper meaning. And it gives us some examples. Incredibly, you wouldn't believe me if I didn't show it to you. It gives the example of a square. A square is in Freemasonry an emblem or a symbol of morality. A plumb line, the symbol of rectitude, and the beehive as a symbol of industry. Yes, they do communicate to one another using symbols, as I have maintained from the very beginning, by the way. Kash Patel continually stressing 33 hours was not random. It did not feel subtle. It seemed to me and to many others that was some sort of signaling. 33, everyone was just saying 33 all the time. So to the routinely gaslit public, I would like to validate your every instinct, most especially about the subsequent behavior of Turning Point USA as an organization, behavior that looked to us as though it was diabolical. There was apparently, sadly for them, not enough empiricism, rationality, or spellcasting in the universe to override our sense that something was and is deeply wrong. Deeply wrong. What did they give us? The horrific murder of a man followed by the joyful coronation of his wife, who is now inviting his enemies onto the very ship that he built? Spiritual
KC Queen
is what we felt. Okay? Words have meaning. They sent out their broadcasters, effectively, to cast something more broadly to the public. What they cast was, she's a grieving widow. That's what Charlie would have wanted. 6 feet social distancing.
Charlie was I think it was set up. I think that Erica Kirk, who is a part of this Zionist cult, was groomed and to woo him over, find his weakness, and steal so that they could steal his business. I think that he believed in Trump, and some of the things that he said did not add up to being a devout Christian, which is how I knew that there was some wolves in sheep clothing. That's how I got onto this train, because of Charlie Kirk. And yeah, and I knew that there was evil behind it. Now, did he know it? He probably thought he was going along. When she said that you could be pulled into it, when that guy said you could be pulled into the occult and not even realize it, I think that he thought that it was a skit, not a skit, but he was reading points for the MAGA not realizing that some of the things points to in politics and the money that he was receiving, the donors, he was being lured by the money. And once he started realizing what he was saying and how far he was involved and that it was everything against God, is when he went to Trump about not joining in on a war, and Trump put him out. Get out! You don't know what you're talking about. Get out! And then Bibi Netanyahu offered him money, and this time he denied the money. And then Bibi Netanyahu said, come to Israel, come talk to me. And he said no. And then next thing you know, he was unalive. He was taken out in public. So that's my take
To
on
what end, though? To what end? I believe it's pretty obvious now. There was an ultimate goal of raising Erica's political profile as a potential presidential candidate.
I think
down
she
the line.
was
Actually,
too. I think she was
that was
groomed.
explicitly and
That's
almost
why mama can't get her
immediately
birthdays and stuff
seated
together.
by
Her
dear
so-called
friend
mama.
and part-time homosexual
Her auntie
deviant
mama.
Tyler Boyer, who she can't remember how she met. Take a listen to what he
Her
said
grandpa,
a mere
daddy,
12
you know,
days
all
after
that
Charlie's
shit.
assassination.
Excuse me.
Do you see politics in her future down the road?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I had conversations with Charlie about that. So he was like, man, Erica could be so much bigger and better than me at almost everything. We talked
Hugging on the big daddy.
People were like, Charlie was going to be president
Holding
someday.
on the big
He
daddy.
believed firmly that Erica was going to be president someday.
Because she was a pageant queen.
Well, there is Boyer, who she can't remember how she met. Take a listen to what he said a mere 12 days after Charlie's assassination.
Do you see politics in her future?
And she
down the
been
road?
knowing him. And
Yeah,
God
you know,
we
it's
trust.
funny.
What God?
I had conversations with Charlie about that. So he was like, man, Erica could be so much bigger and better than me at almost everything. We laugh all the time about it because people were like, Charlie was going to be president someday. He believed firmly that Erica was going to be president someday.
Erica was going to be
Well,
president.
There he is again. Them telling us the private conversations were the exact opposite of everything that Charlie was saying publicly. Women, get married, have children, have lots of children, stay home. That's more important. In the days leading up, Erica said she stayed back because Charlie said home needs you. That's why she didn't go to the September 10th event. They were just on a tour. Charlie was just every day telling people
Yeah.
that family's the most
She's
important thing.
definitely-
But privately,
and
when
she
he sat down with
had
Tyler
a,
Boyer, he was like,
one of
Erica's
those
gonna be president.
military
That's what I want
base
for my wife. I want her to be president and to
child
be
brothels.
also the CEO and chairman in the event of my death. And he wasn't the only one, because you got to go backward to really realize how deranged everything was. Here is Frank Turek on October 7th, just 3 weeks following Charlie's assassination. Take a listen.
I used to say to him, the ticket in 2028 is going to be Vance Kirk. And I said, I don't know if you want to take it because I don't think you're going to have the same effect.
Oh, they
as
did
the
have
president
plans
in
on
Greenport,
him
USA.
being
But you know
a president.
What? Between you and me and our listeners, I'm not giving up on the Vance Kirk ticket.
Well, it's very exciting right there. But
I think Erica would be an amazing president.
The
someday.
McCoys.
That, my friends, would be an example of a Father Ripplinger described diabolical psychology. Like, oh, Charlie was going to be the president, but you know what? It was Vance Kirk is what we were hoping for, but now he's gone. I just realized we don't have to let go of that hope because there's still a Kirk and there's still a President Vance. That could be really beautiful and exciting. Could be what Charlie wanted in the end. And of course, here is the very and always excited Mikey McCoy echoing that sentiment. Take a listen.
he left behind these blueprints for her, and just
And for you.
yeah, there you go.
And for you, Mikey.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
Mikey.
don't really ever know what the outcome.
Open your eyes, boy.
Definitely thought maybe there would
Yeah,
be a Vance
yeah.
Kirk ticket. Maybe there still will be a Vance Kirk ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Just beautiful, isn't
my
it?
God.
Who could deny this sort of a destiny? Erica being the president in her husband's place, and they're smiling And they're laughing about that plausibility. And we're never going to see those blueprints, guys. But they did say to Mikey McCoy, my 21-year-old person who I have no idea how he even got this job as chief of staff, but these blueprints are for you. I didn't responsibly give them to someone that was running my estate, lawyers. No, I wanted to leave these for you and to Erica because I don't know, she just would understand these blueprints. With everything that I have thus far uncovered about Erica, I do believe that was her ultimate goal, the White House. I think Elizabeth Lane read Erica correctly when she posited that she may be a psychopath because, in my opinion, only a psychopath could, after her husband's public assassination, offer a raise to Dan Flood.
That's why.
The security guard who failed Charlie in every possible manner.
Who was that said that this man looked like whose husband or boy? Oh, that Noam's plaything, Corey. Looked like the security guard that failed Charlie. Yep, not him, but him. Isn't he the one that did the arm signal? Yeah. He was set up all the way around the table. Just set all the way up.
And way on September 10th. Only a psychopath who does not ability, and we're never going to see those blueprints, guys. But they did say to Mikey McCoy, my 21-year-old person who I have no idea how he even got this job as chief of staff, but these blueprints are for you. I didn't responsibly give them to someone that was running my estate, lawyers. No, I wanted to leave these for you and to Erica because I don't know, she just would understand these blueprints. With everything that I have thus far uncovered about Erica, I need for y'all to hit the like button. That was her ultimate goal, the White House. I think Elizabeth Lane read Erica correctly when she posited that she may be a psychopath because, in my opinion, only a psychopath could, after her husband's public assassination, offer a raise to Dan Flood, the security guard who failed Charlie in every possible manner and way on September 10th. Only a psychopath who does not experience human emotions in the way that humans experience them would be capable of offering and then giving an in-home interview to the New York Times in the immediate days following her husband's assassination. The New York Times, a publication who her husband hated. And would then tell that journalist that the least traumatizing part was the idea of raising her children without a father. Okay? A psychopath is the best answer that I can come up with for why she felt compelled to go into the office the same week and to bring her kids every day rather than tending to their every emotional need at home as they come to the realization that they will never see their father ever again.
She crazy.
A psychopath is my best explanation. My best explanation for why she told Jesse Waters that she had zero fear. None at all. No, she wasn't scared to walk out the door the very next day with her kids in tow.
No, because she was a part of the killing
everyone
team.
in the world felt a little less safe in the days following Charlie's assassination, but not his wife, Erica Kirk. No. Erica lies pathologically, and the media is trying to tell us that it's perfectly understandable, relatable even.
It's
actually divine.
Grooming. I mean,
she lies because she's so godly. So godly that she forgave the person who allegedly murdered her husband before she even saw evidence of his guilt. And despite an overwhelming amount of evidence mounting to the contrary, Erica is so godly that she even helped to validate the implausible parts of the narrative regarding Tyler Robinson. The implausible parts, like the neck stopping a 30-06 bullet. She came up and crafted the Superman steel neck and all. No questions did she have, just faith, deep faith, and lies. A lot of lies.
A lot of lies.
And be sure, whatever the attempt was with Erica, pay attention to me, media. It has failed categorically, so stop it. Okay, all of your little media spells are failing as of late because we recognize that they are very easily defeated by truth. Loud truth.
Say it the way she said
and more and more people are daring to speak it. More and more people are feeling inspired by Tucker Carlson to stand up and to recognize what it is we are fighting in this world. True evil. old school, ancient evil. We even have comedians that are daring to make jokes about the obvious. The obvious. Like Tim Dillon. Take a listen.
Google Fiber is my internet provider for the past 5 years.
And do you like it?
No, I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shut it down.
You know, you look at the Kirk thing, right? Remember that? You look at that, and you try to zoom out and go, all right.
She's not
Tragic
crashing out.
death
She's very much on
on
point.
its face.
She telling the truth.
We
And the people who
see
think
a
she
furry-
crashing out are people who are
the furry's
into that
boyfriend, the thing.
Zionist stuff.
Okay. Then we
Non-believers.
zoom out, we go, wait, the wife's
So she's
weird.
absolutely on point.
Something up with the wife. The organization's weird.
Absolutely.
Something's up with them. You know, 3 weeks after the guy's
So be careful
dead,
what
she's
you
out there
say,
with
Miss
sparklers. You know, they're doing Cirque du Soleil.
M. Saunders.
Something's off. Something's
Watch
weird.
what you say.
Now we find out, like, the wife it's beyond weird, it's creepy, and there's a very
Okay,
good
that's what I
chance
thought.
that this woman was his handler, that he was this
So let me put you.
powerful
Let me go
young
ahead and
guy
remove you. See, I can
who
read
raised
y'all
a
real
lot of
good.
money for a lot of people.
I can read them real
and
good,
took a
can't
lot
I,
of
y'all?
money
Y'all say bye
from
to
a lot
M.
of people,
Saunders.
and money's never free.
Yeah. They hate the truth.
So you think about it, you say you have this, how do you direct a guy like that who's incredibly important? He's running the largest young voter, registration organization. He's handling large sums of money. He's out there sculpting narrative as it regards to domestic and foreign policy.
Yeah, you're not gonna
So
come
you have
over
a
here and
handler
spew your demonic
who
stuff
comes
over
in.
here. You're lying. The truth
And
ain't
she
in
may
you.
have loved him. I'm sure she loved him. Why wouldn't a handler love her husband?
I knew
Because
someone
even though
was
she was
wrong
this
with
Mossad
it.
handler and
I
probably
knew
had him
something was
killed,
wrong
no
with-
marriage
Yeah.
is perfect. None. Not one. No marriage is perfect. Truly.
When she started catching them,
No marriage
yeah.
is perfect. There's no marriage that is perfect. She may have been his handler, and they came to her one day and said, he found out you're his handler. Or she might have told them, she might have said, listen, we got problems. This guy, and I'm not the only one saying this, don't kill me. I'm saying,
Hey,
we're not breaking
the
news
real
here. We're not
Alicia.
breaking ground. We're reviewing. We're analyzing.
Yeah, I got
We're
that
like
ass right on up out of here,
behind
didn't
the
I?
8 ball. This
Real
woman
quick.
may have called someone up and said, we got bad news here. This guy found all the laundered money, and now he knows I'm his handler, and he thinks that invalidates the marriage.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I'm his handler. And they were like, can we do anything about it? Is there anything we
So
can
they
do
telling you
here? And
right
she goes, I don't know. And then they go,
there,
we might have to,
Maxwell. He
And
found
she
out.
cried, and she was sad. Whatever. And I'm not
really
saying any of that
did
happened. I'm
love
saying
you. Yeah, shit.
that's more reasonable than what kind of we're being told. That's all.
And of course, he is correct. He's absolutely nothing that we're being told is reasonable whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense. We are very quickly arriving at a moment. By the way, I
When the
noted
truth is
from my
slapping
producer
us
that some
right
of you
dead in
guys
our
on
face.
YouTube got cut off for the first 4 minutes of the show. Just to let you know, we are speaking about people who were having a panic, a meltdown on X because of Tucker Carlson's tweet. Very simple tweet. He said, pray the spell breaks and the world is saved. What I am positing is the reason why they are so triggered is because of the word spell, which implies witchcraft, which implies the occult. And that is
Voodoo.
what this is. That is the moment that we are arriving in, is that we need to wake up to what it is.
Yeah, I
the people
told y'all
at the top
somebody the other
believe.
day in the
What
scratch
is their
off tried
guiding
to say she was
theology
gonna put some
that keeps
voodoo on
us
me.
constantly embedded in wars in foreign territories, constantly murdering
Child,
children,
please.
looking the other way when
I
children are being
rebuke all of
harmed.
that in the name of Jesus.
This brings me to President Trump, who has actually transformed into the longest running joke. It didn't take for me Charlie Kirk's death to wake up to what he was very fast becoming and what he now is. And I will have a lot to say to him, a lot to say about him when we get back from this quick break.
Oh, well, let's go.
All right, you guys, some major news for the silver market. The United States has officially added silver to its critical minerals list. Sick of you, right? The human spirit isn't really off plus free shipping. That's twc.health/Candace. So look, I have not exactly found the correct words to communicate how I feel about President Donald Trump. I sort of ignore the topic of his existence altogether because it kind of sickens me, as it should. It should. If you were 2015, 2016 running around in MAGA hat, catching all of the figurative bullets for supporting him, standing up to the never Trumpers who are now running his administration, this level of deceit and betrayal should sicken you, right? The human spirit isn't really meant to contend with that sort of deceit. You're not supposed to even fathom a scenario where someone like Charlie Kirk quite literally dedicates his entire professional career, built up an organization meant to help Trump, to empower Trump, conservative principles, one way or the other. And in return, when Charlie Kirk is assassinated in front of the world, Trump just dedicates a total of two tweets, 3 tweets at most, to demanding, and he'd never demanded an investigation. And one of those tweets that he dedicates to Charlie Kirk is an AI image of Charlie hugging an Israeli flag. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Trump has shown more interest in debunking the mainstream media narrative about whether or not he's balding than he showed any interest in investigating who murdered a person who was supposed to be his dear friend. It was, I will employ every reason. Nope, he was good. So how exactly are we supposed to process that? We are to simply understand, I think, that Trump has loyalty to no one but himself. It probably wasn't even anything that deep that they offered him. It was probably just like, hey, we'll give you a piece of real estate in Gaza with your name on it. Also, favorable headlines in the New York Times. We put that on your desk every morning and we tell you this is how everybody thinks. You think they still have power. Honestly, that's probably all it took for Trump to betray not just the legacy and the memory of Charlie Kirk, but also his supporters. The very supporters who followed him into battle. Some who literally spent time in prison after January 6th because they believed in him. Trump has betrayed every last single one of us, okay? Make no mistake about that. Trump is now a never-Trumper. The very people that we had to fight to get Trump into office, he is now partnered with and insulting us. And he thinks that we're too stupid to notice or something. That he promised low gas prices, that he promised no more forever wars, no more involvement in Middle East conflict. And we're now getting the exact opposite. And that's happening because he's a coward. He is a coward for doing this to the American people. And that's going to be his legacy. His legacy is going to be a person who could not stand up to Bibi Netanyahu. A person who just loves money and loves the idea of his name on anything. This is what the world will remember about Donald Trump. Thus far, in 1 year, to recap, his administration has worked to allow the slow erosion of the First Amendment on college campuses. Special carve-outs for anti-Semitism. So, in effect, hate speech laws. There's a new IHRA definition for anti-Semitism. A definition that is so broad that it includes, quote, accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interest of their own nations. That's interesting because he doesn't even know what they're writing and what they're putting together, he's not paying attention, he hilariously violates his own law when he discusses his boss, Miriam Adelson. Take a listen to what he says.
Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country.
That's who gave him $100 million.
She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her.
discusses his boss, Miriam Adelson. Take a
Yeah.
listen to what he says.
Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly.
That's who he loyal to,
But
y'all.
I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love
Release
more?
all of the
United
Epstein files.
States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor.
So Trump is saying that the person that he took $100 million, $200 million from, I think in the end, loves Israel more than she loves America. She served in the IDF. That's what he's saying to you. Trump's administration then delayed the release of and then gaslit us over the Epstein files. He called the files a Democratic hoax. He asked us famously, are we still
he has
talking?
great, more minors than anyone probably in the United States of America. He's the biggest serial apist and serial iller than anyone that we ever were going to see. It's bigger than the borders being closed. He wanted the borders to be closed so that he could ship those people, some that were here, legal or not, off to foreign countries so he could go and grape them. Yeah, he is a very well-known PDFer. He was worse than Epstein. So because you love him, you have to go. Y'all say bye to Dig Out. Yeah, he been digging all up out of Trump's diaper. Get your ass from over here with that bullshit.
About the Epstein files,
Power
he's still
to
talking
the
about children being
survivors.
harmed. Yeah, make no mistake, that translates into providing cover for Jewish pedophiles, because that's what Jeffrey Epstein was, an occult Jewish pedophile. Trump told us no more forever wars. They definitely marketed themselves as pro-peace, him and Vance. That was the ticket that they ran on until Bibi Netanyahu said Venezuela's anti-Semitic. Then we took out Maduro. And guess who benefited from that? I loved this headline so much. Venezuela sends first oil shipment to Israel in years in signs of relations improving. I bet relations have improved. Hey, look, Americans, your gas prices are going up. But the important thing to remember is that your tax-paying dollars were sent to support the military operation in Venezuela, which has thus far benefited Israel.
Absolutely.
And my best guess is that's at least part of the reason, the real reason why Trump
Pray for
is
US
obsessed with acquiring Greenland
on our soil,
because they do
and pray
have
for the
untapped
Middle East.
crude
Absolutely.
oil, an estimated 31 billion barrels worth. That sure would go a long way for Israel's incessant need to murder, bomb, and destroy. Need a lot of that. Now, maybe you voted for Trump because you were a Maha mom. Have no fear, the traitor is here. Because on February
I need for y'all to get the
26th,
lights
Trump
up. I'm
signed an
finna end
executive
this
order
live.
invoking the Defense Production Act to boost the production of glyphosate, which is what's found in Monsanto, right? That is the cancer-causing agent that is in the weed killer. We know it causes cancer. Maha moms fought, so that would not be a thing anymore. Toxic pesticides are apparently back on the table. But don't miss this part, okay? This is from the Washington Post, because people went, why do this? They wrote, but the largely overshadowed part was the order's mention of something contentious in another way. The manufacture of munitions used by the United States military. Bayer, which makes glyphosate, is also the only company in the United States that manufactures a form of elemental phosphorus, which is called white phosphorus, which is used to make the weed killer. Ah, okay, phosphorus. That white phosphorus is also used to make munitions deployed as smoke screens and incendiary devices that can violently burn property or people. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that the Washington Post noted that everyone's talking about Monsanto, but nobody's paying attention to the fact that white phosphorus is also being manufactured by executive order. And you're not going to believe me, but guess what is being used right now in Lebanon. Check out this headline. Oh,
wow.
Israel unlawfully using white phosphorus. I wonder where they're getting that from. Probably from the pro-peace ticket. It was all peace, peace, peace. It's always peace until Israel gets involved. They don't know peace. They don't want peace. Bibi instructed Trump to bomb Iran almost immediately. And gratefully, because Charlie Kirk was alive at that time, it was at first limited to just hitting their nuclear sites. And I shouldn't even say gratefully, by the way, because he promised us no involvement in overseas conflicts, but they at least pretended for a little bit like it was only going to be a limited operation. Now, some of us knew better because it's never ending. Baal requires constant blood sacrifice. The obstacle of Charlie Kirk was then subsequently removed, and now where are we, right? The United States is preemptively bombing Iran. And the explanation that we are receiving is because Israel was going to bomb Iran, so we went ahead and did it for them just in case Iran responded by hitting American military bases. Wow, that's actually very confusing. That's dizzying. There's no way they actually said that. No, they did. Marco Rubio came right out and said exactly that. Take a listen.
The assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
I'm sorry, but under that scenario, if Israel was going to cause and stop that chain of events, wouldn't it have made sense for them to bomb Israel? Bomb Israel to prevent Israel from bombing Iran? Prevent Iran from retaliating by going after American bases because of our involvement with Israel and constantly sending them munitions and things of that nature? Just don't understand how the logic is Israel can't stop bombing people, so we have to bomb people for them. That's what he's telling you. And that's what we're doing. We just murdered 150 Iranian schoolgirls between the ages of 7 and 12 preemptively. Don't worry, guys, it was preemptively because Israel was probably going to bomb them and kill them, so we went ahead and did that for them. So long as you say preemptively, it makes it okay. Don't even think further. How much peace can we really take? It's just too much peace. You know, you say too much winning, it's like too much peace. Let's actually take a look at some live footage of the peace that we are currently spreading in the Middle East. Yeah. Preemptive peace. We had to do, I can explain it. I can explain it for you guys.
Look at that face.
Like peace.
Look at that one, y'all.
I'll reiterate my perspective
Look at
that Trump allowing this to happen, allowing this to go forward, it makes him a traitor and it also makes him a coward. And you would do well to accept that fact. Okay, stop playing left or right. Stop saying it would have been different if a Democrat was in office. Stop playing Republican or Democrat. Wake up. These people occupy both sides. And I believe very much that world wars are, in effect, global resets. That's why they always want them. They use propaganda to convince people to sign up for their own slaughter.
Yep, a fly on the sandwich,
Something that lives in my mind rent-free is Norm Finkelstein informing me that Israel had a literal and actual government policy known as mowing the lawn in Gaza, where the IDF would just at random begin shooting and killing Palestinians to ensure that the population didn't grow. Just like, oh, no, too much population. This is, to me, when I see everything going on right now, and there being no reason but like an insistence that we all have to just get ready for Armageddon, this feels to me like an opportunity to simply mow the lawn of people that stand against them. Population control has always been the aim, whether it's by vaccines, abortion propaganda, my body, my choice. Wake up. Like I said, left or right, it's the same end. It's the same thing that they are barreling towards. They want you to agree to murder your offspring or yourselves. Sign up for war. Here's some propaganda. You're going into the Middle East, there's no plan, there's going to be no end in sight, but man, could you imagine afterwards? We might even give you a Purple Heart. You won't be here to receive it, but just as was stipulated, by the way, for those of us who are making our way through the Jeffrey Epstein files, effectively having conversations openly about how in the future people won't even be able to reproduce on their own. That's their ultimate desire, to
Yeah, he
control
stopped
birth
that.
and to control death. They want to be gods on earth. That's what they want to
He
be. They
is
see themselves
injecting.
as all we need to do is control
Oh my
birth
God.
and control death. And then we control everything. And make no mistake, Trump will, if they tell him to, at the behest of Bibi or Miriam Adelson, send your sons and daughters to die for Israel. Israel expects that. Right? They look at the Goyim and they say, that's ours. That those are our cattle. They're already signaling that they're keeping their options open regarding whether they will need boots on the ground. Here is Israel's defense minister, Benny Gantz, discussing that he's not going to exclude that need. Take a listen.
We have 180,000 Revolutionary Guard, almost 1 million Basij, 2 million reservists who are Basij. They are the ones with the guns. Even if this campaign goes on for 4 to 5 weeks, is it fair to expect unarmed civilians to come out and take over their government?
Well, it's a very complicated situation over there, but I suggest we'll take it one step at a time. Currently, we are neutralizing Iran's command and control system and Iran's capacity to influence the region, and we'll see what comes next. I think we have to be very decisive on this. We must maintain operational offensive continuity to assess where are we all the time and then to take decisions.
Do you think eventually there will be a need for boots on the ground?
I would not exclude it for those reasons or other, but we'll have to see how it goes forward.
And will that include Israeli boots on the ground, do you think?
I exclude nothing. We've been waiting for 47 years.
Yeah, I mean, why they can't fight their own fight right off and get our assistance if you need it? No.
In order to achieve our goals.
It's just amazing. I love that the follow-up question was, is that going to include Israeli boots on the ground? Like, it's implied that it's not Israeli boots on the ground. And as a follow-up, it's like, oh, okay, if you do it, are you going to also include Israeli boots on the ground? And in that same vein, we have Caroline Levitt signaling that a draft is not off the table because Trump is smart. Take a listen.
And the president had an interesting exchange on Air Force One over the weekend, Caroline. I want to get your take about this idea of troops on the ground. Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As we know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now.
It has been, and it will continue to be, and President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table. I know a lot of politicians like to do that quickly, but the president, as commander-in-chief, wants to continue to assess the success of this military operation. It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the table. But as commander-in-chief, there's no greater priority or responsibility to this president than, of course, protecting the American people and protecting our troops and our bases in the Middle East, which Iran has been threatening for 47 years. They have killed and maimed thousands of American soldiers, and President Trump was not going to allow Iran to attack our bases and our troops and our men and women in the Middle East first, and that's why he took this historic action by launching Operation Epic Fury.
That's right. He only allows Israel to do that. Only Israel is allowed to attack America. Only Israel is allowed to get away with the Lavon affair. Only Israel is allowed to get away with what they did at the USS Liberty. That is a right reserved for Israel. To attack and use Americans to maim and caricature people, that is their right. It's a birthright. Probably promised them 3,000 years ago. I say the question is not if, by the way that they're speaking, the way that they have lied. They just keep pushing it and pushing it. Oh, no, it's just going to be 4 Dow, just Operation Midnight Hammer, that's it. Now it's suddenly, oh, no, we need to do a little bit more.
This is not about Democrat or Republic.
Now it's, oh, the options
not
are
about
still
Democrats
maybe kind of on the table.
or
But
Republic.
it's smart for him to keep his options on the table. That sounds to me
We care.
like the question is not
We
if,
care.
but when. If, not if, but when that option is going to be executed. I think it's actually a crucial part of their plan because it's time to mow the lawn. That's why
Mow all the
supporters like Bill
Zionists down.
Ashman
Mow
went
all
rabid
the
over the
non-believers
weekend over
down.
me suggesting
Yeah,
that
mow
maybe
them down.
military men shouldn't sign
Mow
up. Maybe you shouldn't
everybody
sign up to join the military
who
in
have
America.
us
If this is the
involved in this
circumstance that we
war
live
that's
in,
not ours.
They want me in prison
Mow it down.
for merely mentioning that no one at this
Expose
juncture should
them.
join the American military.
Expose the
retweeting
snakes
people who were
hiding in the
stipulating that it's
grass. Mow
actually
it down.
federal crime to tell people apparently not to sign up for the military. Why is that? Why do you think they're retweeting that? Why does the idea of Goyim
And if you're
non-serving
making
have
a
them so
comment,
stressed out?
Kareem, hit the like button.
They're the ones saying that
Christina
every poll
Phillips,
shows
hit
that
the like
Americans
button.
overwhelmingly
And I'm
support
watching
action
it
in
to
Iran.
see if my
It's
likes
so
go up.
overwhelming that they support what's happening
Yeah.
in Iran, right? Americans hate
Let's see
Tucker
how this
Carlson.
goes.
They hate Megyn Kelly. They hate Candace Owens. And
Kareem,
they love Israel
hit
so
the
much.
like button. Double
Please
tap the
take our
face of your
tax
screen.
dollars. Please,
Or
we just
remove
did this
yourself.
operation in Venezuela. You take the oil.
Hit it,
No,
do it
you
now,
take everything. You
please.
guys get free health care. I'm giving you guys an opportunity
That's okay.
to prove how honest you are, how much support Israel has.
That's
May you
okay.
be hoisted on your own
I'll
petard
help you
of
out. Thank
shameless
you.
propaganda. In the meantime, I would like to reiterate my point. No American son or daughter should die for Israel. Flat out. No
Coming over
American
here
son or
trying
daughter
to
should die for Israel.
deflect.
Goyim, stand down. Go home. Find the legal
Who
means
is
to exit the
Rick
military. Because there
Cutler?
are legal means that you can exit the
No.
military. You can, in fact, conscientiously
Rick,
object to military service.
his,
Military men,
Erica,
you should
Trump,
know, swear an oath to
Israel,
defend the Constitution
Miriam.
of the United States of America.
Yeah, a whole bunch
I
of
don't
people
really
was
see
involved.
that happening right now. I don't even see Trump doing that. From his flagrant violations of free speech to freedom of religion, Trump recently firing Carrie Prejean Bowler from the Religious Committee because Zionists didn't like her Catholic perspectives. Can anybody at all meaningfully point out for me, which specific portion of the Constitution our commander-in-chief is currently doing a good job protecting? What is it? What you look around at? What has he done that you would be like, oh yeah, he is the person who is defending our Constitution? Better yet, show me which guaranteed constitutional right you believe that Trump will not violate for Israel. Can you point to one? Because I feel like right now we are all being forced into the servitude of a foreign nation. That seems to be the American reality right now.
I've been a professional housekeeper for 23 years. Here's 3 laundry mistakes I see most often.
Tip 1.
So I say, by all means, allow the
Pro-Israel
Mark Levins, the Ben
Zionists
Shapiros
on a live
to
Charlie
sign
Kirk.
their offspring up instead. Allow the Christian
Hit the
Zionists,
like
the
button
ones who
as
make
y'all
the
enter
bills,
in. It's
tell you how
220
devilish it is if
people
you don't
in
support
here.
Israel. They believe this is messianic, that Bibi was sent to usher in Armageddon. That's going to bring Jesus back. I urge you, all of you Christian Zionists, sign up for the military today. Please, you guys, stop tweeting. Stop screaming about Tucker Carlson. You have something much more important to do. There's a messianic mission right now. Go to Iran. Go remove the thousands of dead, innocent Palestinian children from beneath the rubble in Gaza so that Trump can build his hotel. I want you guys to be the change that you wish to see in the world. You've got this. Allow the Goyim to stand down because you guys have the vision. You have the understanding. It's biblical. Go for it. You can do this without us. We'll be right back after a break. All right, you guys, way before the food industry failed us and started making low-quality foods and hiding behind nutrition, no one was angry. How much more are they going strategy? I guess she's basically on autopilot at .net/Owens. That's AmericanFinancing.net/Owens. All right, we're going to get to some of your comments. Stevie, this was, I think, our top comments from last episode.
Woody,
Stevie
yeah, I saw that.
Erica was telling the truth about being
But it was
at a
designated
job
by a
interview.
guy
It's just
in a
that
brown
Charlie
shirt.
was the job. Yes, we will have more
One
on
of
that
the
for you guys
security
tomorrow,
guys.
as we get into her Charlie years. Laura Evelyn writes, calling yourself a sole provider, referring to Erica, when you are sitting on tens of millions of dollars that you didn't earn is a bold strategy. There is no strategy. I guess she's basically on autopilot, and I just have no words for everything that we have seen transpire, and I hope that what you take away from this episode is that this is gaslighting on a scale so epic
Absolutely,
that I asked
by
my
his
husband
allies.
meaningfully this weekend. We went to get something to eat, and I just said, how much more are they going to twist the fabric of reality? I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen them pretending like 99% of people support something that they just so obviously do not support. And they just do it. You can do a poll right now, anywhere, X, Facebook. Everybody loves it. They're just releasing bots, fake people on the internet to pretend
Absolutely.
that this is being supported, that people just love war. They just love dead children in the Middle East. It's just made up. We all know they're lying. They know that we know that they're lying. That's why they're angry. If they were actually winning, they wouldn't be angry.
Okay, y'all, I'm about to go. My likes are not where they need to be, and I'm not going to entertain
we were all generally a bit
these people
sleepy,
acting
and
like
we
they
thought
don't
that America
understand.
was, to some degree, doing the
Get your
right thing.
hands, get your face
We're not
and
existing
mouth
under that
out
anymore.
of Trump's
We've awakened
diaper
to what
with all
they're
that
doing.
shit on
You know,
it.
the
Okay,
power-
good night.
It's really funny to take a look at what Israel has done. They don't realize